So hello Tacticians, today we will take a look at the patch 10.24 that's going to hit on Tuesday. So we will take a look at all the changes on the champions, then we will take a look at the major changes to the general system of rolling, and afterwards we will give a meta prediction so you know what to play on patch day and what comps could be strong. So you earn those LP early before the others do. So let's get started. The Lysandra will get a slight nerf on level 4, same as Diana, slight shield nerf on level 3 and 4. Nami is getting nerfed overall, with a more increased amount of total mana will result her in getting less annoying if you're playing Enlightened Nami with Ludens. Pyke overall was performing really well and is getting a nerf on all levels, since he was performing so good in like 1 cost, 2 cost in the mid game, and 3 cost Pyke was just really insane if you could play like 9 cultists and stuff like that. Jarvan was getting a little mixed change, so his stun is getting reduced, but on the other hand his total mana is getting reduced, so he's getting the stun off more reliably. So we will see how this turns out. Lulu's knocked up will just get reduced by the duration, but now it's able to do it twice on the same target, which she wasn't able to do before. So Jinx is getting a full rework here. So her mana is getting changed for an initially a higher mana amount, and the damage is getting nerfed overall. But to counter this, she's getting increased stuns, and the stun mechanic is changing. So now she will attack one target, and once the stun pops onto the target, everyone in 1 hex range will get stunned. So Jinx could be a real good counter to comps that corner. So let's see how this works out. Oh, right, I forgot something. Currently she's a spell damage chosen, and it will go to mana reduction. So probably a mana reducted Jinx sharpshooter chosen could be really insane CC chain here. Talon is getting a nerf and a buff pretty much at the same time. So we will see how this turns out, because the damage will get lower, the mana instead will decrease, and his jump speed while he's using his ultimate is also increased, but now during the jumps he is not invulnerable. This means if you would go being attacked by a Talon, for example, by a Jhin for example, and then he would jump, the Jhin could still attack him while he's in range, while he's flying across the map. Same as for example with Zed, if he is walking up and trying to ultimate, and while he's in the air he can still be targeted by champions. So Warwick is getting a buff here, slightly increased AD, bit reduced attack speed here, and now he can increase the attack speed of his allies when he's getting a takedown in his ultimate form. So we will see how this works out. Yone as well is getting decreased starting mana, basically making him insta-cast with the blue buff here. And his armor and magic resistance reduction is increased to 90%. So we're looking at an almost true damage unit here. But to counter this, his ultimate is no longer knocking up the enemies. So yeah. So you're basically trading lots of damage versus CC here, and Yone getting a lot more invulnerability by being untargetable in his spellcast. Lee Sin is also hitting a change, getting increased primary stun duration and decreased secondary stun duration. So it's probably less likely to hit targets off the board at the start, but not too many targets in a row. Yasuo is getting buffed at level 1 and level 2. Aphelios is getting buffed by slightly higher AD ratio and increased starting mana to get this turret online as well. Zed is getting a slight attack speed buff, Akali is getting buffed and spell damage on any level here. Xin Zhao is getting a buff, like he will have less total mana, so he can cast more reliably and stack those resistance. Cassiopeia is also getting like a pretty decent buff here, 50-20% increased damage to target. And usually Cassiopeia is only doing like one big ultimate at the start, right? So you don't need her to do more ultimates. So the increase of the total mana is not that valuable here. Jhin is getting more AD, and Zed is getting more starting mana, so he might now more reliably ult at the start of the fight and then go into the bench instead of just getting sent to the bench right away. Trades were basically untouched. There's only 2, so there was like a bug with 11 lose streak fortune that got fixed, and the overall Nico drop rate from 6 fortune got slightly lowered. Then the big change to Cultist here is that currently if you would run like a 2-star chosen Cultist, for example like a chosen Elise, in the early game she would count as 4 Galio star levels. And this is reduced to 3 Galio star levels now. And the 3-star is reduced from 6 to 4 Galio star level. So now let's take a look at the system changes here. So the chosen warlords are changed drastically. And I think the most important one to note is at level 7, currently the odds of finding like a 4-cost chosen was 30%, which resulted in this strict 4-point-run roll down lottery meta, and they tried to prevent it by changing this to 5% here. So this means going to level 8, finding this 4-cost chosen that you can play around is much more reliable, so there's more skill involved trying to find out this like best board to get to level 8 instead of like just rushing level 7 and then get into this lottery feeling here. The normal odd changes are they're changed slightly, but they shouldn't really matter to the game. It's just some minor decisions here. What's interesting is the base player damage that changed in each state. So now you're getting more damage in the early stages, so it's even more important to play like your strongest board. And in the mid stage, where we were currently able to spike, you can now relax a bit more and have more time for your transition. And this should result in people having more time to develop into the certain board they're actually looking for. And the more time everyone has, the more balanced the game is, and the likelier it is that the skilled player will get the first here. So I quite like this change. Then we have a chosen bonus stat. Usually the AD champions, if they got a chosen one, like Yasuo, Aphelios and the others, would get like 30 additional damage. And now this is changed to just 20 additional damage. Then there was a slight loot distribution change that affects the early game. So there's less variance now in stage 1 of the loots. So everyone is guaranteed like slightly more loot overall. And as well as like it sucks, right? If you're hitting like 4 bows, for example, and they fixed it, so like not fixed, they changed it, so it's unlikely to hit like a lot of the same type of items naturally in PvE, so you have more variance here. And then something that's probably not even worth noting is that Grey Orbs slightly more valuable now, like they get more gold or like more 2 or 3 cost units, right? But they have a lower Lico drop rate here. So let's get to what we're actually looking for. Like, what should you play on patch day 1? What's the meta prediction here? Looking at this, I would say that reroll comps can spike really fast, especially with the new odds here. And so I recommend playing like any kind of reroll comp. And since Set, for example, is a reroll comp that works really well without even having a Z chosen, so I would probably spam Zed if possible on patch day. So let's see how lucky you are and farm those LP.